All right, slight slip up. I had to start over. Now, we're going to talk about the Grammys having the lowest rating score or viewership since 2009 on CBS, and how this could possibly signal the decline of the celebrity worship. Now, in my opinion, I feel like celebrity worship is the number one biggest enemy to the Black community. It's a product of white supremacy, but I feel like it's more. Um, well, that could be another video. I'll touch on that later. But to stay on topic, the Grammys. Now, let me first say Kendrick Lamar is probably my favorite artist. I heard he won all his awards. I think Jay-Z didn't win any. I thought his album was good, but he talked about the Jews and, why they own the land and different things like that. So I'm kind of not surprised he didn't win any awards. But what does this really mean for us? Is it just, okay, well, the people didn't want to watch it, or because the music is declining, or because it was maybe political with Hillary Clinton and all this other things? I guess people were maybe trying to say it was too liberal, or is it just people are waking up, people are becoming more and more free thinkers, people are just beginning to see things as they are? We know Kendrick Lamar is going to give a good performance. He's a great performer, but all of these other artists, can they really stand the test of time? I think we're beginning to see people just come to an awakening that it's not really worth it. Now, I do understand that there is a shift from, the mass-produced, like the funnel that used to exist, where you had to, put out a demo and do a demo tape and, try and get to the A&R and different things like that. But today, you can just have a stream. Basically stream your music and get it out, or have your music on a YouTube channel and get it out. So that definitely could play a part, but that could still lead to celebrity worship, to celebrity culture, support of celebrity culture, because people essentially want fame. But to me, I personally feel like the Grammys having the low ratings that they had, people are beginning to see that, it's not really there's a decline in music. There's a decline in the quality of music. It's not really, although they say rap music is the number one most popular genre in history today, is reaching the most people in history today. And there's several studies I'm going to put in the description when this broadcast is over. But since Basically, we'll start with the 1990s and even the 1980s. You can see there used to be a emphasis on shows, on family shows, and each decade it increases to reality TV shows. And they're basically building a correlation between the more that you see the increase into the popularity of reality TV shows, the higher celebrity culture, the higher celebrity worship takes a hold into the youth, takes a hold into, even families or whatever, whatever have you. So the 80s, you had the Cosbys. In the 90s, you had somewhat of the Cosbys. You had Family Matters. You had Full House. You had these were the most popular shows. And even Martin, you can kind of say that was a relationship. They were somewhat of a family and they had friends. And as soon as you get into like the early 2000s with The Real World becoming more and more popular, then you had Big Brother in the UK. There's a rise of celebrity worship, of celebrity culture. And this study says it started in the 1900 to 1910. 70% of cultural attention went to famous people. But during that time, the physics, the chemists, and the biologists still had more attention. When you get to the 1950s, the actors had 24% of the coverage, and the writers had 9%. Then when you get to 2010, the actors had 37%, which is over 4 times the attention natural scientists received. So you see that there's a gradual shift in, okay, there is the Hollywood industry probably, is one of the key factors in that also. But LeBron James, he said it perfectly. We don't need more basketball players. We don't need more athletes. We need more doctors. We need more lawyers. We don't need more athletes. We don't need more entertainers. So it's very important to understand, and we need to take note and document any notification or signal of a decline in celebrity worship, because it is the number one disease in our community. Because the people in the community, they want to become doctors, but they don't want to they want to be basketball players and rappers more because it's more appealing. There's not really an appealing doctor or TV show with the doctor, like, oh, that's a cool doctor, or oh, this doctor went back. Like Huxtable, he was just in his house. He wasn't really in his community. He wasn't really, you just seen the Cosby Show in his house. There's really no shows that I can think of that show doctors and lawyers in a cool light that's appealing to children. But celebrities are portrayed and often are the prototype for success. So the media plays a big role in determining who our children and who we give our value to, because essentially that's what celebrity worship is. Celebrity worship is us valuing artists and entertainers more than doctors, lawyers, firefighters, the people who do the everyday work. And it's not saying that artists and entertainers don't have a role or they're not influential, because they've always been influential in society, but never have in the history of the world that I can think of have entertainers and athletes become more irrelevant and important than other fields. And the statistics, as I just read, show that they get all the attention. And the perfect example, obvious example, would be Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he's a former entertainer, he's a celebrity, now he's the president. And then they were trying to talk about Oprah. Oprah's a celebrity. Like, you have to notice the patterns that they want you to worship the celebrity. They want you to participate in the celebrity worship, because what it comes down to is celebrities are just a mascot for corporations. They get sponsored by corporations, they get branded by corporations, and they can't really say what they want to say, or they lose their freedom of speech. So Donald Trump, he has his corporation. Oprah, she has her network, she had her corporation. So we have to really understand their agenda and why they want us to celebrate celebrity, because that's the etymology of celebrity, is to celebrate, or someone that's celebrated. And if you value that so much that you begin to celebrate it over other things, if you begin to celebrate it over, children graduating from college, or children graduating high school from schools that have a low grading scale, schools that don't perform well, but them increasing the graduation rate. There's just a whole, that is the biggest distraction I feel that we have in overcoming white supremacy and different things like that, because that is where our values are. Like how people wait in line for Jordans. That is what people value. But when you go to community meetings, they're usually empty, or it's usually older people. So our values are being handed to us. They're not really being taught to us by our parents. We're having the televisions and media raising us. And, you know, when we have social media and technology the way it is now, it's a lot easier to influence the youth, basically use the mind control. But at the same time, a lot of that is being, there's a lot more information being administered out as far as what people can, you know, make their own decisions. But if you just have a lot of options and you're not really a free thinker yet, then you're going to go towards, you know, the celebrity options. There's a poll they did in the UK. Half of 16-year-olds in the UK want to be famous. If we go to Black communities, you know, people want to be rappers or basketball players. Not all of them, of course. Got to say that. Not all of them, but a large majority. And yes, that's part of money. You want to be successful, but the fame comes with the money. The money comes with the fame. So I think the Grammy ratings being the lowest since 2009, I think people are becoming more and more awake. They're beginning to see that the corporations that control the music industry, they're not the end all be all to determine what's quality music. But again, the quality of music today is at an all-time low also. So that could play a role in it. So that's just my thoughts on that. You can give me your thoughts. What is your view on celebrity worship? Do you feel that celebrity worship is, you know, not a big deal? Am I over-exaggerating? Am I overreacting? Do you feel that celebrities, of course, they work hard to get to where they are, but how does it take precedent over, you know, becoming a productive citizen or bettering your community? Can we imagine thousands of years ago just people stopping everything they wanted to do and focusing on entertaining the community while the community is going away, or while the community is self-destructing? We should not be focusing on celebrity worship. And that shows that our values have been tampered with. Our values have been corrupted to the point where we're valuing something that's really invaluable. Like celebrities, becoming celebrities, how does it really impact a community? Because an impact shouldn't discriminate. Like for example, if I do music, my music is only going to affect people who listen to my music, right? But if I give money back to a community, or open an after-school program, or try to stop, you know, prevent youth violence, or, you know, different things like that, that's going to affect everyone. It's not really going to discriminate as far as the youth is concerned, or younger people. But music is powerful. It is, especially, it resonates with us. It gives us a voice. But at the same time, we have to step back and just realize that, you know, wow, how much money, how much time, why is there so much importance being placed on this? Because we can't say, well, the Matrix exists and the Illuminati and all of this stuff, and Beyonce's in the Illuminati, and every time we talk about it, we're just giving them more attention, more celebrity worship attention, instead of just, and it's very difficult because channels like this one, or other people that are doing work that are out there in their communities, they're not going to get the recognition because they're not celebrities, or they're not really, you know, popular, quote unquote, to where it's becoming trendy, or it's okay to, you know, becoming more and more acceptable. So that stems from celebrity worship, because It's like when you don't want to follow a certain person or a certain ideology because it's not popular yet, instead of you thinking for yourself, well, what is the problem in my community? This is a problem. This is a problem. What am I doing in my life as far as where am I giving my attention to the most that can help with this problem? So how does me talking about Beyonce being in the Illuminati, how does that help with my issues? How does me talking about Beyonce help with not having code schools for my children in Baltimore, not having warm schools for my children in Baltimore? How does talking about Jay-Z throwing up a pyramid, how does that, and not getting millions of views, how does that help with gun violence in the streets? How does that help create resources and opportunities? It doesn't at all. So I think a lot of people themselves, they don't really, if you got like a monthly or even a weekly like receipt or script that said you spent 3 hours on your computer screen a day looking at gossip, looking at things that aren't meaningful, that really, have no bearing on or impact in your community, I think people would start begin to maybe look at things more practical and different. Because celebrity worship is impractical. It's not really productive. It's not really it doesn't help communities. And that doesn't say, I'm not saying that to say entertainers and athletes don't give back and help out. They do, but the more that they speak out that, hey, we have to change cool. And I think the Lupe Fiasco CD, The Cool, that was one of the, at least that's what I got from the CD, like the whole definition and meaning of cool is really not cool, or it's at least not productive to helping our communities in a way, and it's self-destructive. So, and that was over 10 years ago. Lupe, he's ahead of his time, but that was definitely, he definitely was on the money with that one as far as, this is what's cool, this is what's accepted, this is what's trendy. And he's widely accepted. He has a lot of followers or fans, different things like that, rightfully so. He should have even more. But I don't know, it's kind of difficult on their end because that's how they make their money. So you don't want them, I'm not trying to advocate for them to say, hey, don't follow me, don't do this and that. They're encouraging people to go after their dreams, or, music is an escape to, from the harsh realities, from oppression, or to inspire people to fight oppression. And it's really, with the lack of leaders, like Malcolm and Martin, like we don't really have those leaders anymore. Like we have Farrakhan as far as an elder like that, and a couple other ones. But as far as, like how it was in the 60s and 70s, music is the main source of inspiration, for those fighting the system. So I'm not knocking it, but there has to be a shift in the celebrity worship. There has to be a shift in our values. That's the key word with celebrity worship. That's the key word with musicians and entertainers is, what are your values? What do you value? Do you value having freedom? Do you value just having a paycheck and paying bills? Do you value looking up to someone else who isn't helping your situation? Do you value corporations that don't really help you? Do you value spending money with corporations that don't really care about you or your community, but you feel like it's your money, you can do whatever you want with it? Those are questions you have to ask yourself. So let me know what you think. What are your values? What do you think the Grammys or the low ratings, was that I could be reaching, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what I personally feel. I feel like this is a decline. I don't see the ratings going up like they used to be. I think things are gonna become more cultish and group. Like you'll have this group of people follow this music, this group of people follow this music. I think we're gonna become more separated, and it's gonna be difficult to have an umbrella that will accurately represent all sides, because that's part of the plan, which is to just have us basically divided. As far as, I can get an underground CD and get a UGK CD. I don't have to be boxed in between an underground person, underground quote unquote backpacker music, or a person that just listens to down south music. And that's how everyone should be. You shouldn't let, if someone wants to control your thinking, there's obviously an agenda, there's a plan. So controlling your thinking, it may be very, very early on the grand scheme of things, maybe towards the middle. So it's not really the end, because once your thinking is controlled, it's going to be very difficult to get out of that. So as I said earlier, you have the family TV shows let's go back to the I Love Lucy and all and the black and white TV shows. And the more and more reality TV becomes more popular, the more and more celebrity worship becomes popular. The more, like, I don't remember, like, the Kardashians and stuff. Like, I don't remember stuff like that in the 90s during basketball, or the IG models that date the NBA players. I mean, yeah, we know they dated sports athletes, but it's becoming more and more of a thing, and it's irrelevant, it's meaningless. So we can't complain about, okay, we have this issue, we're being oppressed, we have all of this stuff, and then give all of our attention to celebrities, because the celebrities aren't going to save you. At the most, entertainers, they can, help influence you to fight, but really, I don't know, that's kind of weird on why they have so much control and power, because ultimately it's the machine and the media that is giving them the attention, that is pushing them. Because for every Kendrick Lamar, there's a artist who never really gets the attention, like Immortal Technique. I know they're kind of different, but they have similar messages. But there's, it's just, not every artist will get the push that they deserve. So while some are celebrated more, that should let you know off the top. So 23 minutes. I'm going to end this video. Let me know your comments in the description below, and I'll post the studies and from the research of cultural celebrity worship. And this will be one of the biggest topics and issues we'll talk about. So get used to it, and we're gonna pound it, and develop a free thinking society that focuses on bettering the society, like looking objectively. So, all right.